So now we have a basic list of links here rendering, but the code that we're using for it is pretty rudimentary and not really something that you'd want to use in a real application. And so the better way to do this is to use Express's support for template engines. And we can do that by setting a couple of properties on our app instance. We're going to say set views to be the views directory and set view engine to be Jade. And so what that says is when you render a view, look in the views directory, and by default, you're going to use the Jade extension. So now that that's set up, we can actually get rid of all of this code and just say response.render index, and then we're going to give it a context object. And for now, we're just going to give it one property called users and map that to our users array that we created above. And so this is saying, look in the views directory for views with the file name Jade. So when we say render index, that's going to map to index.jade. So here's our Jade template. It's just got a basic, HTML file structure with a header, and then we're going to create an unordered list and then loop over our users that we pass in and create a list item for each one of those. And so if we go refresh our page, we can see that we're now using our Jade view template. That's a lot more succinct and maintainable code than trying to build up these HTML strings. Now, Jade sort of has built-in support for Express, but sometimes you may want to use a template engine that doesn't, like Handlebars. So we have a Handlebars template here, which has the same structure as our Jade template. We're just going to create that list of users. And so if we go back here and set view engine to HBS, when we say render index, it should try and render index.hbs. But when we refresh the page, we get an error message saying that it can't find a module named HBS. And that's because we need to install Handlebars itself. And we're also going to install a library called Consolidate, which basically provides some shims for various template libraries that don't support Express out of the box and let you use them directly. So we're going to go up here and require the Consolidate library that we just installed. And we're going to set that to a variable named engines. And then we're going to come down here and say app.engine HBS engines.handlebars. And so that's basically saying whenever you're asked to render something with an HBS extension, I want you to use this engines.handlebars object. And since we're setting view engine to HBS, and that's going to be used as the default file extension, that will be used just by calling response.render index like we are. So if we go back over here and refresh our page, you can see that we're now using our Handlebars template. Now, if we just add the file extension on here, you can see that we still can use that Jade template. It's just if we're using the default without an extension there, it'll use the Handlebars.